Hi guys, I'm Daniel and I'm going to be doing one YouTube video every week for a year. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want to document my own personal growth. I want to document my ability to speak, my ability to communicate, my progression inside my pressure washing business that I've had since 2018. And I wanted to share the lessons that I have along the way. Hopefully people will find some value in it, and that's it basically. There's not a agenda, there's no other reasons behind it. I want to share what I'm learning, what I know, and I want to also be able to look back on myself and see how far that I've come. I've already looked back on old YouTube videos and all this type of stuff, but I'm just gonna keep it super simple basically. Just like if I'm sitting here having a chat with myself, and maybe there's other people out there that have maybe just started their business or a couple years in that can maybe relate to me, and maybe I can share what I'm doing that might give somebody else some help. So I'm going to do one YouTube video every week for a year. So why am I only going to be doing one YouTube video? The reason I'm only going to be doing one is because I can commit to doing one simple YouTube video every week. If I was going to say two, realistically, I know that I'm not going to be able to keep up. Something else is going to have to be sacrificed for me to do that. I know that I can keep up that consistency for a year by doing just one. I also know that if I keep them simple like this, it's going to be low effort, but I'm going to be able to communicate as much of the information that I need to get out. I can just get it out there like in a simple way. So one YouTube video, and you can see right now, this is my thinking. So even though I'm adding this commitment to my life, there's other things that I've subtracted from my life up until this point. So that's one of the things that I've personally learned. Like, if you're going to take something on, something has to go generally. So wow, what have I subtracted from my life over the last 5 years since I started my cleaning business? So here's the story. 2018, I left quite a good paying job. It was like an engine maintenance job at a company called Land Rover. People will know that in the area that I live in, Solihull. My business is called Squeaky Solihull. This is like a service business, and we also now make pressure washing and soft washing equipment. And I had this job at Land Rover, and it was a good paying job. I think even in 2018, I earned nearly 60k a year. I was doing like shifts and all that type of stuff as well. Long story, I just didn't enjoy it in the end. I did enjoy the people that I worked with, and I learned a lot along the way, but I knew that there was going to be a different, I wanted a new challenge basically. And in this room, I'm in my living room right now, sitting not too far from here. I was sitting in the front window and I saw someone washing the windows, and I asked them if you can wash my windows, and they were like, you're gonna have to speak to my boss. And I thought, you know what, I can do this a lot easier. And about 6 or 9 months later, I'd already started doing window cleaning then. I had a van, I was cleaning windows, and I got enough money to sort of like cover my bills at home. It wasn't enough money to cover my bills. I just thought it was enough money to cover my bills, because I still knew absolutely nothing about business. if my business was taking in £2,000 a month, even at that point, I thought that £2,000 a month was my £2,000, even though I've got all my bills, everything else, tax, insurance, hardly any of that money's mine. But anyway, I had savings at that point because I always saved a section of my money, which is actually one of the issues in this story, really. That safety blanket was actually something that held me back for quite a long time. It made me incredibly lazy. I do think that because I had like a comfortable life, I grew up as well in like you could say a middle class family. I would say, I mean, both my parents worked. My mum worked at a shop, Marks and Spencer's, retail. My dad worked for the council. He would do like project management, like in the offices, like doing the drawings and everything. But we were like in a nice area, middle class, but we had that middle class mentality, and everything was quite comfortable. Now, when I started my business, I sometimes think, now that I'm where I am today, if you're from a comfortable environment, I sometimes think it's harder than if you're poor. And I'll get to why that is in a second. Because things are so comfortable, there's nothing that's going to push you out of your comfort, speaking for myself, out of your comfort zone to make you change, because there's not enough pain there, because you're in this like very comfortable situation. So there's not enough pain to make you change. So one of the things that I found was you either change your situation because you want a better life or you're in pain. I think pain is the biggest motivator, and that came later. So I was in this really comfortable position. I was naive, and that's basically why I ended up taking the jump to start my window cleaning company. I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it actually was. And it is, but that's probably a mindset thing. So fast forward 1 year since I left my job, comfortable job, and I'm doing window cleaning. I've got savings in the bank. It basically took me 2 years for me to just coast by doing window cleaning, to then run out of all my savings. No, probably longer than that, like 3 years to run out of all my savings, because I was just like coasting by. COVID happened, all the rest of it. It wasn't until I basically had no money that I then took my business seriously, because I've had, at this point now, I've had like, all this is sorted now. I've had debt letters. I've had my car clamped because of not making payments. I've had all sorts of things, all sorts of mistakes that have been very, very costly, basically. And it's not until I had that situation of pain and suffering that I changed and got really serious with my business. So I'm sharing that on video 1. Up until now, I've made changes based around pain, but it's slightly different now that my mind is changing a little bit. So what I've actually started doing is seeking out uncomfortable situations and making personal sacrifices to allow me to continue to grow. So what I've been basically doing is, for example, friendship groups. Friendship groups. It's often very comfortable. Everyone is the same. Everyone's in the same situation. And if if I wanted to grow, sort of have to still be, I'm still friends with everybody, but I can't be around those people because I want a different outcome. So I've had to make certain sacrifices, and that has been some essentially old friends, I would say, and replace that with, say, work. But one of the interesting things that I found is, and this is like a lesson now to my younger self, if you've got friends and they're not on the path that you necessarily want, like for example, too much drinking, drugs, things like this, if you are able to sacrifice those like that group of people, you're always essentially going to have friends to some degree. And once you've got rid of it and felt the pain of that, they eventually do come out in other areas of your life. So for example, when you're working, you actually get some of that friendship through working with other people. So that's one of the things that I would say is, don't be afraid to sacrifice things for a better outcome. The other thing that I've also found is, rather than wait for pain to happen through lack of action, or not being proactive, is to actually seek out difficult situations. So put yourself into difficult situations in order to grow. For example, started kickboxing. That is something that I was scared of doing, but in doing so, I believe will enable me to continue to grow, because it's something that I was scared of doing, but now that I've done it, it's allowing me to grow, because I'm putting my mind into difficult situations that it's going to help me to make, there's nothing more difficult than getting punched in the face. So it's like a discomfort that you can control. So I'm seeking a difficult situation in order to help me grow mentally. At the same way, like with girls, if there's a younger person watching, if they're not doing good dating, go and introduce yourself to a girl. Go and speak to a girl. Walk up to her in the street. Don't message them on social media. My girlfriend now, met her on the train. Just go and say hello. And do those things that make you feel uncomfortable, because it's going to help you grow mentally. So that's what I would say to a younger version of myself, is to seek out discomfort and be proactive in seeking it out, because it will help you grow mentally. So what have I been doing with my business? I've isolated the service that I'm offering, roof cleaning. I've subtracted a lot of the services, so get rid of services and focus in on one offering. I've also created a vision for the company, so that document, which is the mission, the purpose, and the values for that company. I've also created an organizational chart, which will identify how many people I would need to create the company that I want to own, because I want to create a company that I can sell. So I'm building a company that I want to sell, and by challenging my mind, doing one video a week, sharing what I know, is another way of ensuring that I get to that goal of creating a company that I want to sell. And I hope the old version, the new version of Daniel can look at this version of Daniel and be proud of who you've become. And if anyone along the way gets some value from it, I hope so. If there's anything that you want me to share about pressure washing business, stuff like that, leaving your job, how should you go about doing it? Drop it in the comments and maybe I'll make a video. Until next time, peace. Don't forget to drop a comment though, and then I can make a video especially around that comment. Peace.